This episode of Southeast Iowa Today is brought to you by Greiner Auto Body of Washington, Iowa, using state-of-the-art techniques and decades of experience to get your car back on the road after an accident. Car Doctor of Washington, Iowa. No matter who Frankensteined it, they can fix it, clean it, and customize it. McDonald Boatyard of Keota, Iowa, for all your farm equipment and auto recycling needs. For great food, it's your choice family restaurant of Wayland, Iowa. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Try the John Bain sandwich on your next visit. Girling Repair of Winfield, Iowa. If your mower is dead, call Fred, your Husqvarna, Aaron's, and Gravely dealer. Fred also fixes and sells snowblowers. B&B Propane and the family of jet stops. CW Tree Trimming, LLC. We're into your trees, not your wallet. Serving all of Henry County and the surrounding area, and we offer a senior citizen and veteran discount. Dutch Market and Coffee Talk of Washington, Iowa. Dutch Market can handle all of your grocery needs. They even have a conference room that you can use for free. Coffee Talk's drive-thru is open and ready to serve you coffee, energy drinks, sandwiches, baked goods, and ice cream. They all present the award-winning Southeast Iowa Today. Here's the author of Christie's Journey, The Beat Goes On, and your host, John Bain.
Thank you, announcer Cody Roy of NewEnglandDukes.com for your golden pipes and wonderful introduction. It is October 15th, 2025, and I am at the Mount Pleasant School Board Election Candidate Forum at the Mount Pleasant High School in Mount Pleasant, Iowa. Sponsored by the Government Relations Committee and KILJ Radio. The candidates you will hear from in this episode are as follows. Craig Hurd, District 1 via video statement. Melinda Huizinga, District 1. Derek Mullen, District 2. Kevin Schrader, District 2. Josh Maher at large is running unopposed and chose not to attend. Executive Vice President of Mount Pleasant Chamber Alliance, Rachel Lindeen, moderated tonight's event. Lots of good questions. Here it comes.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. I'm Hayden Douglas with KILJ here at the Mount Pleasant High School this afternoon from the Media Center, joined by Rachel Lindeen with the Mount Pleasant Chamber for our Mount Pleasant Community School District forum for the election coming up November 4th. I'll let Rachel take it away.
Thank you, Hayden. Good evening, everybody. I am Rachel Lindeen with the Mount Pleasant Chamber Alliance. The Mount Pleasant Area Chamber Alliance is a nonprofit membership organization with the mission of enhancing the quality of life for the people of Henry County through economic growth. We rely on encouraged volunteer participation from area businesses, organizations, and individuals that support the community. We serve as a focal point and advocate for business interests in the Mount Pleasant area at local, regional, state, and national levels. We would like to thank the Mount Pleasant School District for allowing us to host us tonight. As you can see, we are down a candidate. Unfortunately, Craig Hurd could not be with us tonight, but did provide a short video.
Hello, my name is Craig Hurd, and I'm running for school board in District 1. I'm sorry I can't be here this evening with the Meet the Candidate Forum, but I had a commitment for work. A little bit about me. So I moved to Mount Pleasant in 2012 with my wife Laura and our 3 children, who have all grown up in the Mount Pleasant School District and are now 8th grade, 9th grade, and 11th grade. So what brought us to Mount Pleasant is I work for Continental. I came here as an engineer and have worked in just about every department within the plant, and am currently the plant manager of the facility. The reason I'm running for school board is in the past, I've been involved with several volunteer organizations. So I worked with Habitat for Humanity and with the Cub Scouts. And I know that without people getting involved, those organizations cannot be successful. And I think that the school board is really the same way. Unless we have more people willing to get involved, we'll never see all the different perspectives and be able to make the best choices for the district. So some of the things that make me qualified, I think, so from a work experience, I've worked in quality assurance, and I've seen what the investments up front in making sure you have a quality process and how that really impacts the final result. And I think that that is applicable to the education system as well. If we make our education process effective to start with, we'll have good educational results for our students so that they can become strong community members either in Mount Pleasant or wherever they choose to move to after high school. Another functional area that I've worked in is engineering, managed capital investments for our facility. And so I definitely understand having more projects than what the available funding will allow. So I've had to look at different opportunities and how do you make the most impact out of the money that you have available. And that's definitely something that would apply for the school board as well, because there are limitations on funding available and definitely a long list of projects. So I would be able to help look at different ways to focus on those investments to have the greatest impact for our students. So that's a little bit about me, and I'm looking forward to your support on November 4th so that we can provide 4 years of good quality communication within the district for the betterment of our educational system. Thank you.
All right, so let's begin with explaining the format for this conversation tonight. This is not a debate, but instead an opportunity to get together and get to know each candidate. We're going to start with opening comments with 2 minutes each. We'll then move on to prepared questions from the Government Relations Committee. The candidates will have 2 minutes each to answer those questions. None of the candidates have seen the questions in advance. And a note to the candidates, please answer your questions with as much detail as possible. We are looking for specifics, no high-level answers. So, Kevin, we'll start with you for a 2-minute introduction.
Yes, Kevin Schrader. I live here in Mount Pleasant, moved here in 1983 with my wife and 2 kids. And then we had our third when we lived here in Mount Pleasant. We came to town, started business, heavily involved in the local church at the time, youth ministries, led the worship in the church and did those kind of things. That was kind of what moved us here. So anyhow, we started our business here, been here since, like I said, 1983. Seen some good times, seen some bad times. I think I bring to the board maybe a good sense of business through good times, bad times, and how to operate on a limited budget, and maybe step back a little bit and watch things before we make a great big decision, and go from there. And I guess what I bring is transparency, I hope, that you will know when I make a decision, and it will be the best decision made for the entire community, and won't be any questions about what we think or what we do. I hope I bring integrity to the school board if I'm elected, that you can look at and you can trust and you can say, hey, this is where we're going, not questioning the integrity of anybody, but just saying I will bring that with it. And like I said, I think I bring a good communication skill. I'm a good listener. I can sit down and I can weigh the thoughts. And I can say this, I have no agenda. My agenda is your agenda. What do the people say? What do the people want to do? Where do the people want to go? That's where I will go. Even if it differs from what I might believe or what I consider to be truth to me. I'm looking at the people and saying, amen.
Derek?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Derek Mullen. My motivation for running for the school board is because I value education and the education of the students in the Mount Pleasant district. A little bit about my background is that I'm a 1999 graduate of Mount Pleasant. I went to Kirkwood Community College and took trade school classes, and I thought at the time I'd be done with education. Wanted to get out in the real world, but it keeps bringing me back in. So I had the opportunity to go to the University of Northern Iowa and get a teaching degree, industrial technology education, moved back to the area, Mount Pleasant, taught at 2 smaller schools, Pekin for 2 years, Wapello for 3, had a great experience working with students. I decided to resign from that to farm full-time with my family farming operation. I took on more responsibility, more financial responsibility, and that lasted a year. There was a part-time job opening here at Mount Pleasant, so I was the woodshop teacher for two years in the morning, and then went and farmed in the afternoon. Since 2012, I've been farming full-time with my brother and uncle, mainly north of Mount Pleasant, corn and soybeans. I have 3 children in the district, a junior, a freshman, and a 6th grader. It's pretty odd that I don't have an elementary student anymore. It's just went way too fast. I also have a spouse that works in the district. My wife is a social studies teacher at the middle school. Other ways that I've been involved, I started working with a committee, the Ag Task Force, in 2018. Mount Pleasant hadn't had ag classes since the early 90s, and that's a passion of mine. So we fundraised for the first 3 years, and then the school took over that program. Still extremely proud and helpful with that program. And then I ran for school board in 2021, and now.
All right, Melinda.
All right, I am Melinda Husinger. I'm a native of Mount Pleasant. On graduating here, I attended AIB College of Business in Des Moines, received an associate degree, and then went on for a BS in Business Administration at Upper Iowa University. My entire career was with EMC National Life Company in Des Moines, where I retired as a Vice President of Human Resources. And I am running for re-election to the school board, District 1, because there's some unfinished business that I would like to see through. Number 1, hiring the new district superintendent, and number 2, the newly formed facilities committee. So I did serve 12 years on the Carlisle Community School Board, where both of my children graduated, so I feel I do have experience in these areas. I currently serve here in Mount Pleasant as Executive Director of the Old Thrashers Foundation. I serve on the board of Midwest Old Thrashers. I'm a Chamber Ambassador, Treasurer for PEO Chapter OX, Secretary for Chapter DD of Tri-T. I am a steering committee member for Mount Pleasant Festival of Lights and a member of the First United Methodist Church. I feel honored to be a committee member of our church committee, that we give books to every single student in the Mount Pleasant Community School District, starting with Head Start through 5th grade. We do that every fall. We're proud to say we've given out 10,000 books so far in the community. I believe reading is very important. That's why I have volunteered through the RSVP program to read on a weekly basis with our kindergartners. And I also look forward to school tours. I have an unusual hobby of operating steam engines. So I have fun every spring being able to demonstrate to 1,000 upper elementary students how and why farmers would have used steam engines 100 years ago as part of their agricultural heritage. So I feel that my background on the school board, as well as community involvement and human resources, that I could be an asset to the school board as we move forward in our decision making, be it for personnel, for our facilities, or our finances. Thank you.
Thank you. So we'll start with you, Derek. And what particular skills or experiences qualify you to serve as a local school board member?
Yeah, so I feel I listed a little bit of that, and more recently, being a member of the school board, we have a lot of training, a lot of educational opportunities presented to us. I've attended the Iowa Association of School Boards annual meeting convention in November every year. They have specific trainings on how to handle different situations. You know, what are the responsibilities of a board member? How to handle those different situations. So I feel those are skills that I have, and then the experiences that I've completed, go right with that. If it's communication with community members and the process that the board goes through, the meeting process of a regular board meeting versus a work session, and working through the committee meetings. That's really where I feel I can give my most input, is at the committee meetings with discussion, and that's what's gonna drive the agenda for the regular board meetings. I visit classes, I visit schools. Every year when my kids were in elementary, I spent an entire day with them. I did it again last year. I've toured our facilities. I've looked at, what the department heads want. Listen to what the department heads need when they come into the board meetings. Listen to them and see what the board can provide. So I feel those are the skills that I can help with.
Thank you. Melinda?
Well, I too have attended the Iowa School Board Association annual meeting every year, and I have served as a delegate for our district, as well as when I served the 12 years on the Carlisle School Board. I was a delegate at that convention. So I too have attended many of those seminars where they teach us about finance and policy and the other committees. Because we do operate as a school board through 3 committees, one being policy, to make sure that they're in line with the state and federal laws. The other would be finance, that's the one I currently serve on here in Mount Pleasant, and the other would be a site committee, where we discuss current building maintenance as well as a vision for our future facilities. So I do feel that my school board experience, both in Mount Pleasant and Carlisle, would lend itself, would be an asset to our school board in our ongoing process as we're facing some budget constraints that we'll probably talk about later in other questions, as well as our facilities management and hiring of a new district superintendent.
Thank you, Kevin. Do you need me to repeat the question?
Yeah.
What particular skills or experiences qualify you to serve as a school board member?
Thank you. I guess the one thing that I would bring back again is that I really feel that I can sit down and communicate with people. I can talk to them, I can honestly listen to them. I think I can take the things that they've said and the good things we can apply and we can work together. I think I bring a business sense to it, how to operate a business, how to spend when the money's there, how to not spend when it's not there, how if you make $5 and spend $6, you might be in trouble. I think we bring those things. I think I bring honesty, integrity. There was an old coach, John Wooden, made a statement to all of his players. He said, "Don't lie, cheat, or steal." And I think we all qualify for that. We're just like, that's just the way a good community works, And then he said, "Don't whine, don't complain, and don't make excuses." And I think we all fall a little negligent to that. And so I found myself maybe wondering about a few things. What can I do? What can I do? And I thought, okay, if I could bring a good sense of business, a good sense of honesty, a good sense of hard work, a good sense of making decisions, I think that would be the plus that I could bring.
Thank you. Melinda, we'll start this next round with you questions. If elected, what would you hope your key accomplishments on the board during your years of service would be?
Well, as I mentioned before, I think our first priority would be hiring our new district superintendent. That is very key, that we get someone who communicates well with not only school personnel and employees, but with the community as we move forward. And next would be our facilities management. We need to determine where we're going. That's why we have a new ad hoc committee. Tomorrow night, you're all invited to a meeting here, by the way, at 6 o'clock in the evening, to learn about this new committee and its charge, which is to determine what is the best for our elementary education and how will our facilities meet that long-term vision. I do think that that's very key, because being on the financial committee, I do not feel we can afford to sustain financially supporting 7 different attendance centers here in Mount Pleasant. So this committee has a big responsibility. We look forward to, they'll be meeting in October, November, December, and making a report back to our board in January to give us some recommendations of options where we might be headed on that. To me, those are 2 real key.
Thank you. Kevin, would you like me to repeat the question?
Yeah, if you don't mind.
If elected, what would you hope your key accomplishments would be while your time on the school board?
I hope that if I were elected, I hope there's an opportunity for me to be a part of electing the new superintendent. I hope that's still available. I don't know that it will be. I've been told different ways to do it. I'd like to be a part of that because that's the chief right there, you know. That's the big dog in the game, and he'll be the one, or her or him, whoever would be the one. And I think that's a very, very important thing, and I hope I can be a part of that. I think we have a lot of hot topics right now. I think we got Westland still going on, you know. I think we got Salem still going on. I think we still got Great Lake. I think we have a lot of things that people are concerned about that we haven't maybe went out and said, what are your real thoughts about this? What are you thinking about this? What do you want to do about it? You know, and I'm not saying that nothing has been resolved, but I'm saying people still have a lot of questions. So I think I would bring that, that would be one thing that I would like to be a part of, is taking care of that. I would like to make sure that the students are getting exactly what they need, and I'm talking about materials that we bring in. Are the materials that we bring in good? Are they materials that we bring in because the government in the state of Iowa said to do this? I'm thinking, you know, maybe we need to back off a little bit. Maybe we need to say, you know what? You're not going to run us. You're not going to run our kids. We are a strong, solid community, and we're built upon faith, and we're built upon America, and we're built upon the love of God. So I think those are the things that I'd say, hey, do we have a good, strong education? How about our teachers? Are they getting what they need to have to teach? Are they getting the skills? Are we putting money some places that we don't need to be? Maybe we need to put that money towards those. And so those are the things that I won't know until I get on the board. You know, there's a lot of questions, and you get on the board and you start looking at numbers, and you start looking at situations, and then that makes you better able to handle them.
Yeah, so my key accomplishments that I would want to accomplish here in the future is, number one, the superintendent search. That is the most important thing that a school board can do, is hire a superintendent. Without a doubt, the only school employee that reports to the board is the superintendent. The board only evaluates the superintendent. I feel with my skills that I've been involved with superintendents as a teacher, as a community member. I know what I want from a superintendent, and I've been able to work with our current superintendent for 4 years and kind of know that process of what I would expect with the new superintendent. As far as facilities go, I've already served on a facility master plan committee, and now it's going to go to that community group. So I'm very much looking forward to the recommendations from that, and how can the board implement those. Once we get the report from the ad hoc committee in January, you know, how are we able to financially implement some of those changes that our school is going to need to stay viable in the future, that our school district will need to reduce the amount of attendance centers, to be more efficient, be more operationally efficient. And one thing that I hope to accomplish is to continue to support instruction, support classroom teachers, because when we can get students in front of classroom teachers, that's what matters the most. The more time that they're with instruction and providing, small class sizes. Right now we have smaller elementary class sizes, and I want to continue that. So those would be some accomplishments that I look forward to.
Thank you. Kevin, we'll start this next question with you. An individual school board member has no authority. Only the board can work as a whole to make decisions. What skills or traits will allow you to contribute to the effective operations of the board as a whole?
Yeah, once again, I think that I really can sit down and listen to positive, and I can listen to negative. And I can hear what people are saying deep inside. And I think sometimes we look past the most important thing, and emotions. There's a lot of emotion in school. There's a lot of emotion in what people are thinking about different situations. And it's not just let's make a decision, yes or no. It's about a decision. What can we make for the entirety of the whole community once again. And how can we, when we leave this room tonight, and no matter how the election comes out, how can we get involved? Are we just involved when things get tough? Are we involved all the time? Are we willing to make a difference? Are we willing to go the little extra effort that will set things apart? And I know it's hard, but if we are, once again, I say we are a community, and most everybody knows everybody in our town. It's funny, you know, we're 7,500, 8,000 people, whatever we are. But people know people, and they know who you are, and you know what you're doing, and they know how you operate, and they know how you act, and they know what you do. So I think once again, we just bring that good educational skills that we have and work them, maintain them, and do our very best to get along with one another, to listen to one another, and the board, when they come together, they listen to the community, and then we make, there's an old proverb that says, there's safety in the counsel of the multitude. That means what? That means, hey, let's find out what people are thinking, what they're saying, what they're doing before we make a decision, and then come together with the goodness of everyone.
Thank you, Derek.
Could you repeat the question quickly?
Absolutely. An individual school board member has no authority, only the board as a whole can make decisions for the district. What skills or traits will allow you to contribute to an effective operations as the board as a whole?
Right, so I say a lot these last 4 years that I'm one of 7 board members and that my vote doesn't matter. Well, it does, because we're working together as an entire board. And a lot of that's the discussions in the committee meetings. One of the things I'm most proud of is how the board has compromised and worked together to find solutions to problems. I feel I'm open-minded. I am not dead set on one issue, one item, one way to do things. If I'm presented with a different option, this is the best option, you know, I'm going to support that and work towards that as an entire board. The biggest thing I can do as a board member is listen. I've told that to people since I started. I really enjoy talking to people around town. I get stuck in a lot of conversations, and I really enjoy it. So just speaking to people, email correspondence, I say the best way to get a hold of board members is through email. I have responded to just about every email I've gotten, or the board as a whole has, so that way we're, you know, listening to our community members and giving them answers that's going to guide, you know, the operations of the board.
Thank you, Melinda.
Well, I would agree. As a board member, we're very willing to listen. Having served, as I mentioned, in Carlisle as well as in Mount Pleasant, and working through committees, I know once we decide on something, we have to stick together and we're united in that. Yes, we might have an individual vote, but once the board decides as a whole, then we're together as a team to carry through whatever that item of action was. And I'm used to working through people, all the organizations that I volunteer with here in Mount Pleasant, and again, they're all volunteers as well. We've all learned to listen to one another and work together and to solve any issues we may have and move forward. We're very willing again to listen and work as a board together.
Thank you. All right, Derek, this fourth question will begin with you. Preparing our future workforce for success is necessary for this community. How can the school district better engage with local businesses for career technical education?
This is just a very difficult area. It's something that I've been through. I want to support it as much as I can, but I'm not sure there's one, you know, specific answer. It's going to take the community as a whole to come together, and I know that's part of the Chamber Alliance is working on that, and the school district is working, because Rachel did come to a board meeting and present what they're doing. I am a strong advocate for career and technical education. You know, that's what I taught, that's what I've done. I feel that's what I'm still doing. So where it's hard for me is the businesses in town that I do deal with, you know, a lot of them hire people in those fields, and they say that there's just not enough people. So bringing the ag program is one way that I've told, you know, the excavating contractors, the plumbers, that the FFA is a leadership program, and with those students, that's going to be our current workforce. So yeah, how to provide for a future workforce, I believe it starts even earlier than high school. You know, our exploratories in middle school, the portrait of a panther has the characteristics that we want of our students, that we want as our future community members. And it's just gonna take businesses engaging more with the school, I believe.
Thank you, Melinda.
Well, it's interesting, because we just had a report given to us by Dr. Butler on our Iowa State performance profile. And actually, our high school is doing quite well. We're above the state average on the percentage of students who do have a work-based training, skill, experience. So I commend our community, our businesses, if they're willing to do apprenticeships or have the students work in the business to gain some of those experiences. That's very important, but we actually are ahead of the state average on that. We're also ahead of the state average on our high school students taking college credits too, to prepare them for the workforce. I agree with Derek, our portrait of a panther, we worked on that all last year. Those are great attributes that we would want of future citizens of our community and future employees as well. So, and tomorrow I know we're doing a workshop here with the IJAG students and the business community to see if there are some career opportunities for them in the community as well. So it's important that our businesses do attend those kinds of functions that are put on by the chamber here at the school.
Thank you, Kevin.
This year was my first year to hire a student ever. And I thought, okay, what are we gonna do? 60% of the graduates this year will go to college. That means 40% are not going to college. Out of the 60% that go to college, 50% of them will never operate in the field that they went to college to learn a degree in. So we got a lot of people out there that, yeah, they need those skills. So this year we hired a young person. Will I change his life? I don't know. But I thought I was willing to give him an opportunity to come and work, to kind of sit down to learn a little bit about how you operate, how do you treat people, what do you do, the respect that you give to people that are your customers, and how are you gonna work with them on a daily basis, not just, hey, I just came to my job and I left. Those days are over. I think we need to get back to the word called service, and so we're working on that. I look at all these things and I think, wow, there's a lot of kids out there that aren't even wanting to work. I think, and I'll give you my opinion, you can decide whether it's good or bad, but I think the government said you don't need to work. We went through COVID and we came out of that with a no work attitude. And I think we have to go back now. Once again, it's a community. Are we willing to be involved? Are we willing to jump in and roll up our sleeves and get our hands dirty? I think we're gonna have to, one way or the other, to make a difference. And these programs, if it's a good program that we have in the school, and it helps a lot of people, let's keep it going. If we have a program in the school and it's not working and it's not helping a lot of people, let's fix it if it's a good program and make it work better. If it's not, maybe we can just put it on the shelf and take some time to decide about those things.
Thank you. Melinda, we'll start the next question with you. The school district is currently in the process of searching for a new superintendent. What qualifications are you looking for in the next superintendent?
Who was that to?
Melinda.
Okay, thanks.
Right. Well, we appreciate those who responded to our survey. experience in rural school communities because we are facing a decline in enrollment in those areas. So we would want a superintendent who's had experience in that, perhaps one experience in facilities management, since we're heading into that study. One who has good communication skills with not only would be the employees of the district, but those in the community that could do a lot of community building together would be very important. I guess really communication would be one of the important things, and then experience in our rural educational system.
Thank you. Kevin, do you want me to repeat the question?
No, I think
Okay.
I got it. So yeah, I mean, once again, we'll go back to John Wooden, do they lie, steal, or kill, you know? And I think that's just the basic of life. And you look at it and you say, okay, after the situation we see in Des Moines, okay? So the people that are coming in that are giving us who should be your superintendent, we got 15 people maybe that we're gonna pick from. When we decide that, okay, we're down to 1, 2, or 3, then that's when I think we start digging in a little bit more and find out, okay, what's this person like? Where'd they come from? What's their background? What do they believe? How hard of a worker are they? And I think we can look at the last job they had and tell real quick. So I think we're looking at that. And I saw the survey, and a lot of you do the survey on what do you expect in a superintendent. I did the survey, and I think we had like 15 options and we had to pick 3. And I thought, I don't want to pick 3. I want to pick all of them. Because everything on that list, I think the person should qualify for. And if they come up short 2 or 3 of those, and I think we need to stop and say, how come they came up short on those? Let's go look at it. So I think it's an awesome responsibility of doing that. And those are the things that I think if we look at those and we say, hey, let's just find a good person that can communicate. And you can tell, all you got to talk to somebody for about 3 minutes and you can tell real quick, I think, are they a good, solid person? Are they pretending? Are they putting on a show or a facade? Or where are they coming from? So yeah, I would like to see all those qualifications. Good, strong, hardworking, honest, full of integrity, full of honesty, full of faith.
Thank you. Derek, do you need me to repeat the question?
For the superintendent qualifications that I'm looking for, the school of our size, the superintendent should come with some experience. You know, we should be able to draw candidates that would have a certain number of years of experience and looking to step up into a role of this size. So my number one thing would be experience, a willingness to move to the community. That's not something that is a definitive thing that most superintendents have to do, but are they willing to move to the community to be visible, you know, to interact with our community members, to be at community events, you know, supporting the community, but also telling the community members what's going on in the school. So yeah, definitely communication, facility planning experience, the amount of the procedure, the process that a school has to go through to get just a rooftop unit replaced, or in addition to the school, you know, architects, all kinds of planning that goes into it. Do they have that experience? Because that's what we're relying on the superintendent for. And finally, data-driven decisions. I want to be presented as a school board member with data that's going to drive our decisions. Is the new superintendent planning on using that same process, you know, to provide the right personnel in the right places with the data that we have?
Thank you. Kevin, we'll start this next question with you. A child care center has proven to be a direct pipeline for students into the district. Do you support the school district engaging with child care? Why or why not?
I know I was at the school board meeting on Monday, And I know that they're working to make sure that the kids have breakfast, you know, they're fed, they're ready to go, they're strengthened. So yeah, in the perfect world, we'd have to address some of these issues, but our world isn't perfect. And I think that as a school board, we'll come on and we'll say, hey, how do we deal with the child, not just educational, but how do we deal with the child emotionally? You know, where are they coming from? What was the home life like? Do they need that child care? Do they need that time alone with a good person that cares about them? And you look at it, and I think we got to do that. That's not something that you normally would want to do or want to talk about, but yeah, I think we need to jump in there and say, yeah, I'm willing to support however we can help these kids, spirit, soul, and mind. You know, we're made up of those three things. How are we going to help each other? What are we going to do? What makes the difference in these children? And I think it goes a lot farther than I learned to count to 10, and I can certainly say my ABCs. Well, a lot of people can do that. What are we going to do next? Are we going to get involved with them emotionally and help them spiritually?
Thank you. Derek?
Could you repeat it real quick?
Absolutely. A child care center has proven to be a direct pipeline for students into the district. Do you support the school district engaging with child care? Why or why not?
Yes, I do, and there's many ways that that can happen. Right now, we're currently providing space for an after-school program, and I can't remember the elementary. It's Harlan, I believe, for an after-school program. So we are currently doing that, and to expand that, if we do have a facilities plan that goes forward, why not have the child care space right there where the students are going to go to the elementary school in the future? This is the biggest example from New London I can use. Mount Pleasant loses open enrollment to New London. Danville loses open enrollment to New London. That's something that we need to make a priority for in our community to keep our students into our school district. So yes, I'm fully on board.
Thank you. Melinda?
Yes, I too would be fully on board. That was our idea in having an early childhood center here in Mount Pleasant so that they could start as infants in child care, move right on into preschool, on into kindergarten, and into our complete school system. We didn't want families having to go to another community to get that child care. We want to be able to provide it right here. So yes, we are working with the current child care center. Like you say, the after-school program, and we would like to see that expanded. Yes.
Thank you. Derek, we'll start this next question with you. What do you see as the current challenges facing public education in our state and country?
Right now, for the state of Iowa, it's demographics, especially for the Mount Pleasant Community School District. It is the demographics. I've been using that we have 450 fewer students from 1999 to now. We just found out this week that there's 60 students less than last year. So there's over 500 students less, which is directly drives our funding. Our funding is $8,000 per student from the state SSA, supplemental state aid. And so that means we're going to lose $480,000 of funding next year. Not this year, but next year. And Mount Pleasant is not different in the rest of Southeast Iowa or the rest of rural Iowa to answer that question. So like we talked about previously, retaining graduates, bringing back college graduates to our area, that's going to be extremely important because these challenges will directly affect instruction. You know, if we have to reduce staff, that's going to affect the instruction that our students receive.
Thank you. Melinda?
Yes. Well, I too agree. Demographics, we are losing, as he said, 450 students in the last 25 years, 300 in the last 10 years, and yes, 60 more Education predicts that by the year 2030, that rural schools will lose an additional 3.5% of our certified enrollment. That would equate to another 175 students for Mount Pleasant, which at $8,000 a student plus supplemental state aid, that would be $1.4 million of revenue coming in that we would stand to lose by the year 2030. So it is a problem. We are now in competition too with your private schools, your charter schools, because you now have an educational savings account that $8,000 supplemental aid goes with you to the new school. We did lose 23 students this year to those private schools, and that funding will follow that. So that definitely is a problem that our school needs to be aware of. In fact, our superintendent at our finance meeting last week said that we need to be looking at the budget starting next year. We need to be cutting out somewhere between $1 million and $1.5 million, and we need to be prepared for this deficit in students.
Thank you. Kevin?
Tough question. Almost as tough as you guys. You look pretty rough out there. I'm just teasing you. Yeah, so I think we start looking now. I don't think we can wait till the future. I don't think we can wait till next year. I think we need to start looking now and saying, okay, what programs might have to be cut? What building projects might have to be cut? And you know, it's just good business. A good school board, a good school, good community is just built on good sense, good common decisions, and saying, hey, if we have to start cutting, where's that available to? Why are the students leaving? I don't know. I think we need to look at that and say, is there a reason that they're going to some other places? So we look at that and I think, okay, what do we need to do to keep our students here, to work with them? And I think that that's not just here, but I think that's in a lot of places, and I think that's going to be a growing problem. And I think funds are huge, but I think we look at the funding that we have available in our community. You know, you look at the different things that we have going. I know a lot of programs are financed through individuals, not even through the school. And so maybe we look at that a little bit more. Maybe we once again get the community involved and say, hey, what are we going to do to make a difference?
Thank you. Melinda, we'll start the sixth question with you. The school district has been discussing the future of all elementaries. Please provide your thoughts and your visions for all school facilities.
Yes, that's the reason we have appointed a new ad hoc facilities planning committee consisting of 45 members, most of them community members, parents, and some school personnel, to discuss this. Their purpose is to find out how do we envision the best educational experience for our elementary students, and then how are those facilities going to fit? Because financially we can't support 7 locations. We have 4 elementaries, we have our central campus, we have our middle school and our high school. And it's costing us about $9,600 per student to attend Harlan, $9,900 per student to attend Lincoln, $10,500 to attend Van Allen, and $11,500 per student to attend Salem. For the middle school, it's the same as Harlan, $9,600, and our high school is the same as Salem, $11,500. We're receiving $8,000 per student in state funding, plus we have a property tax as well. So we need to be looking at these facilities and how can we best provide our educational opportunities. We need safe environments, and so this committee will need to be looking at the safety and security of each of our buildings, as well as what is the best way to educate them in the future, and how will our current facilities fit that vision.
Thank you. Kevin?
Give that to me once more if you would.
Sure. The school district has been discussing the future of all elementary schools. Please provide your thoughts on the vision on school facilities.
Another tough one. You look at that, just since I made the decision to run for the school board, I've just been driving around looking at our school facilities, looking at our buildings and saying, okay, how much do we need to spend on them to bring them up? Are we there? Are we good enough? Are we surviving? Can we get along with what we're doing and maybe step back a little bit and say, you know what, maybe we don't need to spend right at the moment. Maybe we just need to kind of keep up. I know that our 1% sales tax is kind of set aside for that, and 2 million to 2.5 million, and that's a lot of money. And I'm thinking we can't just throw that around. I think we need to be more diligent with those funds and say, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna squeeze, like one guy said, we're gonna squeeze the buffalo on the back of a nickel until we get what we want out of it. And I think that's what we do. I think we get in there and say, okay, how do we look at these schools? Are we in the position? It doesn't sound like we're in a position to keep on building. And I think we just stop back for a little bit, take a glance at what we're doing, give us a time to meditate and ponder the decisions that we're making. And I think once again, the community involvement there will help. And people, what are they saying? I know the people love the neighborhood school system. I know they like that, and so that's a part of it. And I think that's going to have to be a part of our plan.
Thank you, Derek.
Yeah, so the thoughts on my vision for the elementaries would be to reduce the number of them. Right now we have 4 elementary attendance centers. We're gonna take a hard look at the recommendation of the ad hoc committee. Take that into consideration and move, if there is a recommendation from them. The current buildings were built in the 1950s. They do not meet the needs of our current students. They were not designed with the special education needs that our students have. English language learners, we're trying to put space wherever we can put it, the students, we're trying to come up with space. TAG, so to move the community forward, we need to provide 21st century learning spaces to our students, give our staff those facilities. And as far as funding goes, this is different than that amount that I was talking about we had to cut. Because of less students, that's the general fund. We have the penny sales tax, which is the save dollars, $2.3 million per year. We normally spend $1 million in maintenance on buildings every year. If we don't have to spend that much money on maintenance because we are renovating a building, adding on to a building, that can bring our maintenance costs down. And we also have PEPL. PEPL is property tax funded. It pays for infrastructure just like SAVE. So with the support services buildings that we've already done, we hope to have some goodwill from the community, to be able to move forward with some attendance centers. That is my vision moving forward.
Thank you. All right, Kevin, we'll start this last question with you. Where do you see the district in 4 years, 10 years, and 20? And what will you do to help us get us there?
Once again, I think community. And I know it's easy to hire a school teacher. It's easy to hire a superintendent and then just step back and watch. I don't think we can do that anymore. I think we have to get involved. And I think we have to start planning right now, as any good program does, say, hey, what is the future over the next years as it comes? 20 years, a long time from now, but not really. It'll be here before we know it. So I really do see us growing. But once again, it is a community effort. Once again, it is, where's our Chamber Alliance, and where's our city councils, and where's all these places? How do we get good businesses back into Mount Pleasant? Easier said than done, right? So how do we get companies to come here, to set up here, so that we can keep our people here and keep our people strong and keep our students when they graduate? Where do they want to go? Do they want to come back here? Is there a reason to come back here? Because that's the only thing that probably is going to build a really really good, strong future for our school is when you leave and when you come back. I have 3 kids that went through the program. I have 4 grandchildren right now going through the program. Where are they going to go? Is there going to be something that keeps them here, that keeps them wanting to be a part of this community? And I do. I think we have a lot of good things to offer. I think we have a lot of good people in our community, and I think a lot of good help and a lot of good work we can accomplish about anything we want to accomplish if we'll set our hearts and our minds to get it done. But we got to do it, folks. We have to just decide, you know what? We're going to get this done. It doesn't matter how we get it done, but we're going to get it done, and we're not going to put all that responsibility upon our teachers and upon our superintendents.
Derek?
So in 4 years, where do I want to see our district? I want us to have a strong superintendent. I want us to have strong administrators, because they're the ones that hire the teachers. We have current, strong staff for our students, and by hiring, the right superintendent, we can maintain that. The next thing would be facilities. I hope we have a roadmap for a facilities plan. Not saying a shovel is going to be in the ground yet in 4 years, but we need to have a roadmap for how we want to handle our facilities for our community school. In 10 years, I hope a lot of those things are implemented. That a new elementary would be able to have students in it, and the community be proud of something like that. 20 years is a long time from now, so I'm going to let the next generation take that.
Thank you. Melinda?
Well, I would agree. Within 4 years, I would hope we'd have a roadmap and a plan for our facilities improvement under the leadership of a new district superintendent as well as administrators. We need to provide the 21st century classroom instruction to take care of not only the majority of our students, but we have a lot of special ed needs out there on either end of the spectrum. We have our talented and gifted as well as those who have special requirements and needs. And our English language learners, I don't think we realize we have about 150 students in our school district that speak a total of 9 different languages. That makes it very difficult for teachers to teach as well as for those students to learn. So we need to have the proper teachers and classrooms available that we can help them as well as all the other students. I think we need to focus on career technical programs for those who want to enter the trades, as well as your college preparation courses. We need to have competitive pay for teachers, substitutes, paraeducators, so that we have proper staff to educate our students in the future as well. So I agree with Derek. In 10 years, I would hope we would have new facilities available that would meet our 21st century classroom needs.
Thank you. So we'll conclude tonight with some closing remarks. Each one of you have 2 minutes, and Derek, we'll start with you.
So to continue on with what is the purpose, what's the job of the school board? It's oversight. It's to look at the big picture. And that's something I feel that I do very well with my farming operation. You had the day-to-day things. That's what the staff at the school handles. The school board has 3 main areas: oversight of finance. So I want to make sure we're in good financial standing for the community, and this will allow us to continue to provide the instructional opportunities for our students and support our staff. The second area we have control over is policy. When anybody comes to me, I typically refer back to policy. So I want to make sure that that provides for the operations of the district. And the third thing is facilities, which we've done a lot of talking about tonight. So I am very proud of the work that's been done on the school board during my first term. I can summarize my dedication to the district as a commitment. I'm making a commitment. I want to continue that commitment because I believe in prioritizing student learning, prioritizing making data-driven financial decisions, and protecting classroom teachers. Also, the way I show my commitment is to show up. The last 2 years, I don't think I've missed a regular board meeting or a work session. And that's because I want to get as much information as possible so I can make the best decisions for our students. So my hope is that with my experience and past work on the board, I have earned your vote November 4th.
Thank you. Melinda?
I think Derek and I have the same notes. I have the same idea that the role of the school board is one of governance, not day-to-day operations. We do operate through the 3 committees, the policy committee to make sure that our policies are in compliance with state and federal laws. Our finance committee, there we adopt the budget, we monitor expenses, and we've already talked about what we need to be doing now in the future. Keep a close watch on that because of our demographics and our decreasing enrollment. And then our site committee, maintaining our buildings and developing a future vision for what those facilities might look like to provide the kind of education that we need. There's a couple things we didn't touch on tonight as far as site. I support the board's decision when they purchased the central campus. I know it was for $1.35 million, but we are using a $20 million gymnasium every day, according to our athletic director, and we're using a $20 million auditorium / chapel, not only for the school, but for the community as well. And I support the board's decision in Greater Light buildings too. And as Derek said, we meet 4 times a month, so we do put time into this, plus there might be special meetings in between. All 3 committees meet, plus we have a regular meeting a month and a work session meeting a month. So we do put a lot of time and commitment into it. The other role of the board would be, and our most important role would be, hiring the district superintendents, setting goals, and then monitoring and evaluating that person's performance, because they're the ones that will carry on the day-to-day operations with the rest of the staff and administration. So I feel that my background with human resources and my career, as well as prior school board experience and all my community involvement, would be an asset for the board as we continue to make these big decisions moving forward in the areas of personnel and facilities and finances.
Thank
So
you.
I appreciate your support too on November 4th or before.
Thank you, Kevin.
Yeah, amen to that. November 4th, big day. We get out, we can vote, we can take advantage of the privilege that we have in America and in Mount Pleasant to vote. And so make sure you get out there. Absentee voting has started already. I think it started today. If you can't get out and you can't vote, you can't make it to your polling station, go absentee, go for it. Get in there and make your voice count. I think one of the important things we have to look at too right now is what are we doing? The community right now, you guys are getting ready to elect the board. That's how it works. The board is getting ready to choose the superintendent. That's how it works. Community, board, superintendent. If that gets out of balance, then we're out of balance. We have to make it work. We have to get in there. We have to say, hey, how does this work? Your vote for Kevin Schrader, will not stop at the polling station, okay? Your vote doesn't stop there. I'm gonna continue working for you. Like I said, your agenda is my agenda. I don't have an agenda that I have to follow through. I don't have an agenda that I wanna push. I promise to work hard. I promise to listen hard. I promise to help implement the things that you feel are important. And I don't believe that there's any 3 o'clock congressional meetings that need to be voted in. I think we need to be transparent, 100%. You'll know what we're voting on when we're voting on it. There'll be some decisions that we have to make without you, but when it comes to financial decisions, we're putting a burden on you, the taxpayer, and you need to know what's going on. So, like I said, your agenda is my agenda, and your vote doesn't stop when you vote for me at the poll. Thank you. I appreciate your time. I appreciate all those that put a sign up for me, that pulled it up, mowed, put it back in. Thank you very much. I appreciate the chamber, KIOJ, and Southeast Iowa today. Thank you.
Well, thank you to everybody here for joining us and on 105.5. Again, thank you to the school district. We appreciate your willingness to serve and good luck at the polls. As a reminder, it's been mentioned before, but go vote on November 4th. And thank you for coming and have a great evening.
Well, Rachel asked a lot of good questions tonight to the school board candidates. What did you think of their answers? Put some comments down below, right below here in the comments section. Let us know what you think. And while you do that, give this episode a like and make sure to follow and subscribe. It's free. Thanks for watching this episode. Thanks to the candidates for doing this public forum. And thanks to my sponsors, Griner Auto Body, Car Doctor, McDonald Boneyard, Your Choice Family Restaurant, Girling Repair, B&B Propane, and the family of Jet Stops, CW Tree Trimming, LLC, Dutch Market, and Coffee Talk. Remember, school board elections are the most important election you can ever vote in, so make sure you vote this November 4th. And while you're at it, stay friendly, Southeast Iowa.